This stuff in fiction is the theoretical extreme. The real life is way simpler. What is a word? A word divides. Imagine the first word. Let's say circle. Then, metaphysically, the entire world was circle. Unless you didn't know about that word. Then, it was an infinite unknown nothing. We'll get to that later. Now, a second word. Square. So then, the everything was either square or circle. A third word further divides. That's Sukuna's cutting ability. The logos that divides and constricts your consciousness. You could almost mistake language for creating the world, for how it divides / distinguishes something from something else. Now, Gojo. He's the opposite of slashing. His ability is infinity, and anyone who comes close to him gets slowed down further and further the closer they get. That's the unknown, the unspoken, all that doesn't have a word yet. You can certainly imagine it getting harder and harder to keep defining the unknown, with early words covering it, and synthesizing words that have a bigger and bigger history behind how they got made. In German you can actually just put words together. Spiel, Fußballspiel, from broad to particular, from Lucifer to narcissism. More about that with Megumi.
He might cause me a little trouble.
But would you lose?
I would win.
Thus, the question I still have is, why Gojo has hollow purple? That's synthesis. Is that a reference to universal intelligence and all knowledge being discovered rather than made? Meaning God, all pattern, did the synthesis ahead of time? Or is it just a microcosm - reference of Hermeticism, its rules, with the attraction and reversal stuff? You know, polarity, as above so below. It does fit the paradox or irony that knowing the infinite and detaching, Buddhism, was achieved through the same consciousness division and synthesis. That's cursed techniques, huh? The 6 eyes of reading curse energy directly are pretty clear. Anyways, Gojo to be Buddha's favorite guy with the non-duality and stuff. In practice, however, his infinity causes more of a Luciferian everything, a sort of scrambler to the world, dragging even time backwards with its overabundant particles. Meanwhile, Sukuna, his title King of Curses, fits very well. Dividing and exploring the mazes of the symbols curses are. Also, Sukuna's spiderweb makes this make even more sense. That's a thinking archetype by Jung, I think. Spiderweb. So now I get their fight. I mean, who wasn't spoiled? Can Sukuna even travel and divide the maze of the infinite? The most scrambled, most chaotic place? Your own life dialed up to everything. Now to Yuji. He is both taught by Gojo as well as a vessel to Sukuna. A main character in shonen is often someone you can immerse yourself as, or from whose view you watch the events. Anti-heroes aside, Yuji is a good guy, and I think that confirms this. Also shonen tropes and blah blah. So this just shows you that we can both use words as well as embrace the infinite unknown, right? Vessel to Sukuna plus student to Gojo. Yuji is a synthesis, but how does he contradict Sukuna? Pessimism and optimism and a logos already in force. That's cursed techniques, huh? Despite Sukuna also having invented words - logos dividing. Oh man. Let the constellations begin. And yep, collecting footage, I realized genius character design. Yuji's been cut, divided, twice. Once by Choso, once by Mahito. Literally or reconstructing him, rather than synthesis from two, it's from the point of synthesis into two. The difference is none? It's just pointing out what was already in him. No? Violence and family. Let's talk about Megumi. His ability under this hard spiritual metaphysical medieval Bible-like lens is interesting. He can summon shadow beasts, maybe summoning spirits from my ego spirit symbol world tree. He'd been an artist who can use things he doesn't know about, shadows. Alright, he can use spirits, but he doesn't directly know spirits. He can channel them, like a shaman, or much more fitting, artist, through symbols in which mazes they are imprinted in. This is kind of what Sukuna does, manually. He is called the king of curses. Being able to divide would be manually walking a symbol's maze. Meanwhile, Megumi just uses the symbol itself, with the spirit inside it. I have a theory Mahoraga is a cyclical part of history, its adaptation ability. Mahito is also a spirit. At the same time, he's a symbol of the spirit hatred. Everything where hatred is involved, that's contained in the maze of symbol. Maze? Mice? Corn? Oh no. Watch my Digital Circus Jack's Stolen Eros video. So, curses are symbols and spirits. Don't forget the overlap. Sukuna divides symbols and as such spirits. Megumi uses spirits through symbols. Gojo scrambles and overloads symbols, spirits. Sukuna, the word and consciousness division. Megumi, art and symbols. Gojo, detachment and comparison. Or, well, comparison does make sense. The fun part is that Sukuna only has what would cause Ahrimanic focus, the unconscious rock, and Gojo too has what causes Luciferian spread, unconscious universe. So they aren't even extremes, but they have the power to make and be them, at least not in the real world. There they cause stuff like OCD and neuroticism, but also prayers working and detachment. Best of both worlds is Christ. The church buried this tree and Abraxas. Thanks, Steiner. It's really nice. Realize the power of words. The immense power words have is not to be understated. You need to word it to believe it. Plato and its difference from Stoicism. Plato thought that knowledge alone changes how you act. Meanwhile, Stoics thought you had to consciously enforce it. Stoicism is more about the biological habits, while Plato is the consciousness division part. A body's readiness to follow a logos. The Stoics mean a homeostasis, neuroplasticity shenanigans. Think of trauma, where just 6 days in Fallujah would take decades long to recover from. A medieval charm used to clear ailments, removing one letter until a silence that vanishes appears iconically. Abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadab, abracada, abracat, abraca, abrac, abra, abr, ab, a,